The loneliness trap. Remember that quiet ache when the party's buzzing, but you'd trade it all for a solo walk under the stars, just to breathe without explaining yourself? Or the warm glow of finally ditching the group chat for that 1 hour where your mind feels like home? If you've ever felt wrong for needing that space, here's the truth that hits home. It's not a curse. It's your hidden superpower, wired into your soul for unbreakable peace and genius. Science proves it. Being alone isn't lonely. It's the edge that makes you thrive. Now I know what you're thinking. Alone? That's what lonely people are, right? That's the quiet killer making people depressed and isolated. Wrong. And here's the stat that'll blow your mind. 80% of Gen Z has felt lonely in the past year. 80%. But here's the twist. Most of that loneliness isn't coming from being alone. It's coming from being surrounded by people while feeling totally invisible. Scrolling TikTok in a crowded room, laughing at memes with friends while your chest feels hollow, texting 5 people and getting 0 real connection. That's the real loneliness trap. The thing is, we've been sold a lie by every movie, every social media highlight reel, every group chat notification. The lie says solo equals sad, alone equals broken. But what if the opposite is true? What if your need for quiet time isn't a flaw in your software, it's a feature nobody taught you how to use? Stick with me, because in the next 10 minutes, you're about to discover 3 superpowers that unlock when you stop running from solitude and start running toward it. Solitude versus loneliness, the psychology decode. Before we go deeper, let's decode the real difference between 2 words everyone confuses: solitude and loneliness. Because this distinction, it literally changes everything. Solitude is chosen. It's you hitting pause on the chaos and choosing silence like you choose your favorite song. Your phone stays put. Your mind gets space to breathe. Loneliness is the opposite. Loneliness is when you feel like you should be connected, but you're not. It's the unwanted gap between the connection you want and the connection you have. You can be lonely in a stadium full of people. You can be totally content alone in your room. Context matters. Intention matters. Here's where the brain science gets wild. Psychologist Ethan Kross studied this, and here's what he found. Your brain actually responds differently depending on how you think about being alone. If you believe alone time is good for you, your brain literally treats it as good. You feel recharged, creative, clear. But if you walk into solitude thinking something's wrong with you for needing it, your brain agrees. It floods you with the loneliness signal, making you feel worse. Think of your brain like a phone battery. When you're constantly streaming, gaming, notifications blasting, apps refreshing, your battery dies fast. But solitude, it's the charger. It's the reset. Psychologist Thuy V. Nguyen ran experiments where people sat alone in complete silence. No phone, no distraction, just their thoughts. Their stress hormones dropped. Their sense of calm went up. Not because they were doing anything special, just because they stopped doing everything else. The brain actually has a mode called the default mode network, and this is cool. It only really activates when you're not focused on the outside world. No email, no podcast, no other people demanding your attention. When that mode fires up, that's when something magic happens. But we'll get to that next. Superpower 1. Creativity unleashed. Here's a question. Where did your best ideas come from? Think back. Was it when you were in a Zoom meeting with 12 people? Was it when you were doom scrolling with a friend? Probably not. Most likely, it hit you when you were alone. In the shower, on a walk, lying in bed at 2 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. That's your first superpower. When you're alone, your brain doesn't have to split its attention between what you're saying, what they're saying, what they think you mean, what's socially acceptable in this moment. Your mind gets to roam. And that roaming, that's where innovation lives. That's where unexpected connections form. Albert Einstein figured out relativity partly through solo thought experiments. He'd spend hours alone, thinking, imagining, letting his mind wander into impossible scenarios. Nikola Tesla would take walks alone for hours, visualizing his inventions before ever building them. Virginia Woolf, one of the greatest writers ever, wrote some of her most profound work in solitude. But here's the thing. You don't need to be a genius to tap into this. The research is clear. When you're alone and your mind wanders, that's when your brain connects dots you didn't even know existed. Someone scrolling TikTok alone isn't getting these benefits because their brain's distracted. But you? If you doodle alone for 20 minutes, if you go for a walk with no earbuds, if you journal random thoughts, your brain starts playing. Ideas collide. You solve problems you've been stuck on for weeks. What if your next great idea, whether it's a video that'll go viral, a conversation that'll change your relationship, or a solution to something you've been wrestling with, what if it's waiting for you in your next quiet moment alone? The only question is, are you brave enough to sit still and let it find you? Superpower 2. Emotional armor built. Let's talk about something real. Group energy is intoxicating, right? You go to a party feeling blah, but everyone's hyped, and suddenly you're hyped too. You're in a group chat roasting someone, and the dopamine hit feels so good. But here's what's happening. You're outsourcing your emotions to other people. Your mood becomes a crowd vote. Your sense of self becomes a popularity contest. When you spend time alone with yourself, actually alone, no distraction, something different happens. You start to notice your own feelings. You start to know yourself. This is called self-awareness, and it's literally the foundation of confidence. Think about it. Why do people feel insecure? Usually, it's because they've never actually checked in with themselves. They're too busy seeing themselves through other people's eyes. But when you sit alone with your thoughts, you get to hear your own voice. You get to ask yourself, what do I actually think about this situation? What do I want? What matters to me? And every time you answer those questions honestly, you're building what psychologists call emotional armor, the unshakable knowing of who you are. Here's the contrast. Imagine being in a dramatic group chat where everyone's stirring up drama and you're confused because you don't even know if you're upset or just responding to everyone else's upset. That's low self-awareness. Now imagine taking 30 minutes alone, journaling about the same situation and realizing, actually, that doesn't bother me. Or, yeah, that hurt, and here's why. That clarity, that's power, that's the armor. Solitude is where you learn to feel seen by yourself. And when you feel seen by yourself, you don't need other people's validation as desperately. You can be around people without your sense of self dissolving. That's when real, secure relationships happen, not when you're trying to become whoever everyone needs you to be. Superpower 3. Productivity on steroids. Ever notice how you can be in a room full of people and get absolutely nothing done, but then you lock your door, silence your phone, and suddenly you're unstoppable? Your output doubles, your focus sharpens like you've never experienced it before. That's not random, that's neuroscience. When your brain is trying to process social cues, monitor conversations, keep up appearances, and perform, which is what group environments do to you, it's literally splitting its processing power. You've got maybe 30% of your cognitive muscle left for actual work, but when you're alone, you get the full 100%. Researchers call this deep work. No distractions, no notifications, no one asking you a question, just you and the task. The studies show it's not just about having more time, it's about having more quality of attention. You can do 2 hours of deep work alone and accomplish what would take 8 hours in an office. Your brain goes into a flow state where time disappears and work just flows out of you. Here's a simple ritual to try: a no-phone walk. Tomorrow or this weekend, take a 20-minute walk outside with nothing but your thoughts. No earbuds, no podcast, no phone. Just you and the world. Your brain will feel weird about it at first. You'll have the urge to check your phone like 17 times. But by minute 5, something shifts. Ideas start coming. You're noticing things. And when you come back, you sit down to work and suddenly you're locked in, focused, productive in a way you forgot was possible. That's the superpower of productive alone time. It's not just good for your creativity or your mental health, it's a cheat code for actually getting things done. And in a world where everyone's drowning in busy work and distractions, mastery of your own focus, that's genuinely a superpower. Real heroes who mastered it. Now let's talk about proof. Real people, real wins, all fueled by solitude. Henry David Thoreau actually moved to a cabin alone in the woods for 2 years. People thought he was weird. Isn't that what hermits do? But during those 2 years, he wrote some of the most influential work in American history. He reflected on freedom, nature, society, what it actually means to live. He came out of that cabin having shaped how generations think about independence and authenticity. But it's not just historical figures. Look at modern creators. There are people who quietly built massive audiences by doing their work alone. Filmmakers, musicians, writers, programmers who don't chase clout or collaborate constantly or post every 5 seconds to stay relevant. They disappear into their work, spend weeks or months alone creating something that resonates with millions. Their solitude isn't a weakness that held them back. It's the secret ingredient that let them create something nobody else could. Here's the pattern. The people who change fields, who create something real, who build something that lasts, they almost always have periods where they disappear from the noise and do their thing alone. Not because they're antisocial, but because they understand something. The world's greatest work is rarely done in committees. It's done in solitude. And the wild part? After they create that thing alone, then they share it. Then they collaborate. But the magic moment, the moment where the real creation happened, that was alone. You want to know how to tap into that? Keep listening, because that's what the next chapter is about. Your Solitude Toolkit. Make it stick. Okay, so you're convinced. Solitude is actually good. Your brain's not broken for wanting quiet. Being alone is where the magic happens. But how do you actually make this a habit when the whole world is designed to pull you back into the chaos? Here are 3 hacks that actually work. First, the 10-minute daily unplug. Not tomorrow, tonight. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Phone goes somewhere else, earbuds off. Just you. Could be sitting on your bed, could be a walk around the block, could be staring out the window. 10 minutes. Do this every single day for a week, and your nervous system starts recalibrating. Your brain starts remembering what quiet feels like. It's like a meditation, but without the pressure of doing it right. Just time away. Second, journaling prompts that actually matter. Not those generic describe your day prompts. Try this. Write down one moment today where you felt genuinely seen by someone else, or one moment where you felt totally alone emotionally, even though people were around you. Or this one, if you could do anything tomorrow with zero judgment, what would it be? These questions force you to actually know yourself, and they create a record you can look back on and see your own growth. Third, one simple boundary phrase. You need this because people will ask. Your friends will wonder why you're not always available. Your family might think you're depressed. So you need language that holds space for your solitude. Try this. I'm protecting my alone time right now because it helps me be better when I'm with you. That's it. That's not rude. That's honest. That's you modeling healthy boundaries. But here's the warning. Balance. Solitude is powerful, but humans are social creatures too. We need connection. We need community. The goal isn't to become a hermit. The goal is to get comfortable enough with yourself that when you're with others, you're actually there, not performing, not anxious, just present. That's when real connection happens. That's when your relationships actually mean something. Embrace your inner superhero, the mindset shift. Here's the real truth, and this is what I want to land with you. That feeling you get when you ditch the party early or finally silence the group chat for a few hours, that's not weakness. That's not broken social skills. That's your nervous system protecting you. That's your inner wisdom saying, I need to recharge. That's you being strong enough to honor your own needs. For so long, you've been told that the best version of you is the social version, the version that shows up, speaks up, never needs a break, always has energy for everyone else. And maybe that feels right sometimes. But there's another version of you that only exists when you're alone. the honest version, the creative version, the version that knows exactly what it thinks and what it wants. That version isn't weaker, it's actually more you. The superpower isn't about being alone forever. It's about being so comfortable in your own company that you never feel lonely again. It's about knowing that you can rely on yourself, that your thoughts matter, that your solitude is sacred. And from that foundation, everything changes. Your relationships get better because you're not desperate for validation. Your work gets better because you actually know what you want to say. Your life gets better because you're living it for you, not for an imaginary audience. So here's what I want you to do. This week, take one solo walk, or sit alone with your thoughts for 20 minutes, or journal about something real. Just try one thing from that toolkit. And then I want you to comment below. Tell me your superpower win. What did you create, or notice, or understand about yourself when you were alone? Because the truth is, you've had this superpower your whole life. You've just been waiting for permission to use it. You've got it now. Go be your own superhero.